Hello viewers, and welcome to a look at Cruis'n Blast on the Nintendo Switch. And boom, we're away on a bit of arcade racing. Yes, this is arcade racing. If you're not into arcade racing games, this isn't for you, but if you are, listen on, I'll talk a bit about it. So Cruis'n Blast, there it is, the arcade machine. I went to an arcade show a couple of years ago, saw the well, when was that? I don't know, 2016, something like that, and I jumped on myself for a little spin on that. We see people enjoying it. The vehicle selection was very unusual. I ended up going with the not the horse and cart, but the cow and cart, as we should say, the bull and cart even, and had a race around the streets of London, which we'll see here as well. A very unusual version of London because it joined different parts of the city together in one. So where aspects are sort of a mile apart or 2 miles apart, they put them all together with all the highlights you'd expect of London. As you can see here, lots of detail, lots of colour, a very intense experience. There's no brake pedal, you just accelerate and drive. It's about as basic as an arcade game could be, and so I guess when you're converting this to a console, within reason, you do need to add a bit more to it. But here you can see a race around the city, a bit of the underground, various underpasses, and then eventually in a moment we end up in Parliament Square and Trafalgar Square and everything else. But we haven't got it on this video because we're looking at Cruis'n Blast on the Switch. And so here we are then, the Switch version of the same track. There it is. There is some detail that's been removed, as one might expect racing on a handheld. But either way, first things first, very impressive graphically, running at 60 FPS. Lots of action, lots of particle effects, lots of shiny bits on the cars. It's one of those games that sort of, I suppose I'm impressed to see it running on a Switch, what they're still managing to get out of it and converting an arcade system like this. And then you see a bit of the Burnout style gameplay, you know. What can I say about it really? It's fun arcade driving action. There's a wide array of courses as we drive on top of the undergrounds here, as you do, and then explode from there. Somewhere in the city, and Regent Street maybe there, London Eye rolling past as you do, and eventually we'll be coming to St Paul's, which is obviously next to Parliament Square somewhere. So there we have it. That's a quick look at some of the London circuit. Right, what do we have in the game? We have a whole bunch of stuff in terms of lots of cars, some very unusual cars, bikes, spaceships, helicopters and other stuff. So in terms of your driving, everything sounds the same. It's a bit odd when you're driving a helicopter with a car sound, but it is what it is, I guess, to give you the idea of actually driving the car and how you need to accelerate, brake for the corners. So we just finished now in front of Buckingham Palace, coming through for the win, and a late win there, but did the business, did the business. Now, one of the highlights has to be the music. Let's have a listen to the music. Yeah, loving the tunes here tonight on VVV Radio. We're listening to the Cruis'n music, and I love it when a games company makes a little bit of singing, a bit like the Ridge Racer music from Ridge Racer 4, putting a bit of effort into an in-house soundtrack, and I love a bit of that. The music in the game generally works really well with the arcade action, and screens like that one there, when I got the police car, look really nice, don't they? And everything's shiny and colourful and nice looking. Again, please don't think this is a sim racing game. If you haven't spotted already, it's not. It's a simple, fun arcade game you can play on your Switch. Now, gameplay-wise, pretty straightforward. There's not a lot of detail there. In terms of challenge, I'm playing it on the normal setting here, but you get gold medals or whatever, silver, bronze. So in terms of longevity, there are a whole bunch of tracks and cars to earn. The cars all need to be leveled up. The tracks you can all complete on hard and extreme difficulty settings. I haven't been through that at this stage, but might do it on a stream one day, something like that, just to show you guys some of the different action on the harder difficulty settings. Suffice to say, it goes from, I'd say, probably relatively comfortable to, you know, on the limit, getting every single boost right, taking out every car whenever you can. And sometimes I don't really know how much control I'm in of the game anyway. It feels like there's a certain part of it where you're on, you know, sort of a journey, and you just sort of hope for the best, really, that everything comes together. The AI is very you know, unpredictable in the way it all behaves and how it works. So suffice to say, hell for leather, beginning to the end of the race. Now, I've been showing a selection of the different you know, environments that are in the game. You have enormous scale to the environments, some big drops now and again. I think we come to one quite soon, actually, on this prehistoric stage. Here we go through the floor. Wow, big drops like that. And there are massive moments with giant obstacles rolling around, objects rolling around. The scale to the events is very impressive. It's a roller coaster of a game, as we see a bit of biking action as well, which again, it's all straightforward, very easy to control, and I will show you some different clips now of the game as I'm talking. So, Cruis'n Blast then, a conversion from what was a relatively dull arcade experience has become a fun handheld experience. I haven't managed to play this in multiplayer. I'd say for the younger gamer, pretty much in terms of the whatever you're going to get out of it, or just enjoy the fact that it is quite random. So it doesn't matter how good you are at racing games, anyone can win on Cruis'n Blast. At the end of the day, you just put your foot down and drive and hope for the best and get your boosts right. But some interesting things to find in the final game, some very creative elements. Scale of some of the tracks and the elements you'll find are always impressive. And do remember, this is a handheld game, and I think for a handheld to do some of what they're doing here with the effects and the colours, I'm always impressed with what developers have managed to get out of it. So good job to these developers. I'll be looking at this game a bit more when I look at some of the best racing games out on Nintendo Switch, and there's some really nice titles in there. But that's it from me for now. Do like and subscribe, it supports what I do. Do become a YouTube member, that supports what I do as well. Could really do with a few more of them. And that's it from me for now. I'll be back with more coverage, but that'll be more from me very soon.
First place!
Hello viewers, well thanks for watching the video today. Do like and subscribe, it supports what we do. Do become a YouTube member. YouTube Patreon supports all of our content you see on the channel, and of course lots of gaming from retro to modern games. I love it all in terms of racing action. So click on one of the two videos just there to find out more.